Just picked this jointer up from a garage sale, but as you can see, it needs a bit of work. So in today's video, let's try and bring this thing back to life. The machine did come with one spare blade, and the spare blade is sharp, which is good, but the ones that were in the machine are blunt, so I'm going to send those away and make them sharp. So to tackle this rust today, I've got a few products. Got the old WD-40, which always does pretty good. Now I found this at Bunnings. This is Boston Rust Buster. Never used it, hopefully it works. I've also got some power scrub pads here. Got some steel wool, and if worse comes to worse, I've got some 1200 grit wet and dry sandpaper. Shouldn't need to use that, but I've got it just in case. All right, first attempt with the Boston Rust Buster and a scourer pad. Not as good as I'd hope. This rust seems like it's pretty deep in this cast iron. So I'm gonna change it up. I'm gonna try some WD-40, maybe try some steel wool and see if I get any success with that. Not quite what I was expecting. I was kind of hoping to get it back to like brand new cast iron. So I think I'm gonna have to up my weapon and try the 1200p wet and dry sandpaper. All right, so what I've done is I've just gone and cut a little block like this. I know that's straight. Get a piece of sandpaper, roughly slice it in half. And I should be able to wrap it around this block and hold it and see if this will get that rust off. WD-40. Woo! Look at that. We're getting so close to where I want to be, but we're not quite there. So I'm going to keep going until I can get the whole bed looking like this, and then I'm gonna get a nice comparison shot of what it started like to what I got it to. I probably shouldn't have done this on a 40-degree day because I am dripping in sweat. So I think that deserves a subscribe. All right, I'm happy with this side. Now I'm going to tackle the other side and I'll see you when it's done. Have a look at this. I am super happy with how this turned out. There's a few little spots where there's some deep pitting and you just never get that off because you never know how far that is under the surface. All right, I think I found a pretty good stopping point now. I got all three surfaces pretty clean. Couldn't get all those real deep parts off, but that's okay. Now, the thing that sort of got me over the line was the wet and dry sandpaper with a block. Now, if you are gonna do this, if you are gonna sand it with sandpaper, you definitely need to use a really fine grit sandpaper like wet and dry, 1200p at least. And the most important thing is that you use something very, very straight. If you were just to use this with your hand, you would create a bunch of little humps inside the cast iron, but you need to use a nice straight block like a piece of MDF. I know some people use glass. Whatever you can find that will just stay perfectly straight will work. Now the next thing I'm going to do Just to protect this from ever rusting again, I'm going to use this here. This is Frappete, it's called, that's the brand name. Restore Paste Wax Polish. This is an Australian brand. It's really good stuff. I use this on my table saw and a few of my tools. It just helps everything glide a lot easier. So basically what this machine does is it makes one straight edge on your timber. And you might have seen that I recently made another straightening jig. This is for a table saw. If you want to see how I made this, please click the video above and have a watch. The way this machine differs to that straightening jig is it does another thing that straightening jig can't do. And that's actually straightening the face of a board. So this machine will joint the edge, but will also straighten the front, whereas that jig can't do that. Now, general rule of thumb is that the whole length of your table, this is 720 millimeters long. You can generally only joint boards double the length of that bed there. So that's 720 millimeters long. I'll be able to joint things up to about 1440 millimeters long effectively, which is handy because I've been doing a lot of pallet wood lately and I haven't seen a pallet longer than 1400 millimeters. Now I've chosen this pallet piece here to do the test run. If you look down the edge of this board, it's got a nice bow to it, so I'm going to see if I can straighten that up. But also, if you look across, I don't know if you guys can see that on camera, but if you look across the face of the board here, it's also got a bit of a cup. So I want to try and see if I can use this machine to get this nice and straight both ways. Dead flat across that bottom edge. This machine is working perfect. Got my square edge and have a look at that. I don't know if you can see it on camera. That is a perfectly square front. And you should have seen how cupped this board was when I started. Thanks for watching this video. And if you want to see more content, you know what to do. See you next time.